Chapter 1: The Simple Power of Gratitude. Gratitude is one of those ideas that sounds obvious until you really sit with it. Most of us know, on some level, that being thankful feels good. But what does that actually mean for everyday life? In this chapter, we'll talk in plain terms about what gratitude looks like when you pay attention to it, how small shifts in noticing can change the tone of a whole day, and a few simple habits you can try tonight. No lofty promises, just clear, useful things you can do to feel steadier and more connected. Start with the basics. Gratitude is the practice of noticing and appreciating what is already here. That can be big things like a friend who shows up when you need them, or tiny things like the warmth of a mug in your hands on a cold morning. The practice isn't meant to erase difficulty. It's not about pretending everything is fine when it isn't. Instead, it gives you more access to resources you already have. Small comforts, loving people, skills you've learned, chances you didn't expect. When you hold those things in view, they become sources of strength rather than background noise. Think about a day when everything felt heavy. Maybe a work deadline, a tense conversation, or the general low mood that comes from too many responsibilities. Now imagine someone asked you, right in that moment, what you appreciated that day. You might blank out. But if you train the habit of looking for one small thing, sunlight on a windowsill, a text from an old friend, a moment when a child laughed, you begin to build a different kind of awareness. That awareness doesn't make the hard parts vanish. It gives you micro moments of ease that add up. One way to make gratitude practical is to give it a shape. A simple evening ritual is to name 3 things that happened that day that you are thankful for. They don't need to be profound. The goal is to notice with intention. Maybe one thing was funny, one thing was useful, and writing them down helps. Writing there shows that committing things to paper increases the effect, but even saying them aloud counts. Over time, this trains your brain to look for the good as well as the stressful. You'll still see both, but they'll balance differently. Another approachable practice is the gratitude pause. It takes 10 seconds. When you find yourself getting annoyed, tired, or overwhelmed, stop for a moment and breathe. Picture something small you appreciate right now. The sound of rain, a favorite sweater, a neighbor who waves. Hold that image for a count of 10. This mini reset doesn't ignore what's hard. It simply offers your nervous system a brief break. Doing this several times a day recalibrates how reactive you feel to daily pressures. And you don't need extra time in your schedule to do it. There's a social side to this habit that matters. Gratitude grows stronger when it leaves your head and goes into the world. Saying thank you matters, but so does being specific. Instead of a quick thanks, try naming what you appreciated. Thanks for calling me yesterday. It really helped me think through that choice. Specificity tells the other person they made a real difference, and it deepens connection. You don't need to make speeches. Concise and sincere works best. These moments strengthen relationships, and relationships are one of the biggest buffers against loneliness and stress. Some people worry that gratitude is a solo project, a private list on a sticky note. That's one form of practice, but you can also make gratitude a shared experience. A short ritual at dinner where each person names one good thing from the day builds familiarity with noticing positives. In work settings, a brief acknowledgement of a coworker's contribution can shift team culture toward appreciation rather than constant critique. Community-level gratitude requires humility and attention. It invites people to recognize the effort behind outcomes rather than just the result. It helps to keep expectations realistic. Gratitude will not fix major problems on its own. It isn't a replacement for therapy, practical problem solving, or policy changes that address systemic injustice. But it does change the inner weather. When storms come, people who habitually notice the good tend to recover more quickly. They can point to things that anchor them, memories, relationships, skills, and that makes it easier to take the next practical step. This is why gratitude is often paired with action. Notice something you appreciate, then let that appreciation motivate you to protect or share it. There are also creativity boosts hidden in gratitude. When you notice useful or beautiful things, your mind starts to connect them in new ways. You may see a resource you can use, or a fresh angle on a stubborn challenge. This isn't mystical. It's the brain recognizing patterns and building on what already works. When you routinely thank your life for small wins, you create a mental inventory of solutions and support. That inventory becomes a toolbox you can reach for when plans go sideways. To keep this practical, here are 3 easy invitations you can start tonight. 1. The 3 notes habit. Write down 3 small things from your day you're grateful for and 1 sentence about why each mattered. 2. The gratitude pause. When stress rises, take 10 seconds to breathe and note a simple comfort around you. 3. The specific thank you. Tell one person why you appreciated something they did recently. Try one of these for a week and notice what changes. You'll likely find that the world doesn't become perfect, but your experience of it becomes kinder. Finally, be patient with yourself. Gratitude is a muscle that gets stronger with use. Some days it will come easily. Other days you may struggle to find even one small thing. Both responses are normal. The point isn't to force feelings, but to practice opening your awareness to what supports you. Over time, those openings widen and make room for more joy and calm. That change happens quietly, and then one day you realize you're seeing more good than you used to, and that makes the hard parts easier to bear. 1. Noticing small things. Start by sharpening what you already see. This short section shows simple ways to tune into everyday comforts and shifts how your mind balances stress and ease. Train your attention with tiny signals. Pick one neutral moment each hour, a sip of tea, a stretch, a breath, and label what you like about it. Naming a single quality, like warmth or calm, brings that detail forward and makes it easier to notice similar moments later. Start small. Choose one ordinary moment every hour. An empty pause between tasks, the act of standing up, or the first taste of a drink, and give it a short name. Saying warmth or stillness aloud or silently directs your focus to that single quality. Naming one detail trains your brain to find similar cues without effort. With a little repetition, these tiny selections become automatic and expand what you notice in daily life. If you want a simple system, set a subtle cue, an alarm tone, a switch of activity, or the top of the hour, and stick with one label. Within days, you'll find those tiny signals appearing naturally in your awareness. Use micro resets when tension spikes. Stop for a breath, look for one small pleasant thing in the environment, and hold it for a few seconds. These pauses don't change the situation, but they change how reactive you feel to it. When stress climbs, a brief reset can interrupt the buildup. Pause for a slow breath. Let your gaze land on a single comforting detail, a patch of light, a steady chair, the hum of distant traffic, and hold that image for a few seconds. That tiny break gives your nervous system a moment to settle so you can choose how to respond. It isn't about ignoring difficulty. It's a practical way to reduce reactivity and create space for clearer thinking. Practice these micro resets in calm moments so they become habitual. A 3-breath cycle and one noticed detail can be used anywhere, on a commute, in a hot meeting, or before a hard conversation, to steady you quickly and unobtrusively. Create a low-effort record. Keep a single index card or a notes app entry for quick wins. A kind word, a helpful fix, a silly moment. Glancing back at these tiny records reminds you of resources you might otherwise overlook. Choose one easy place to capture small positives: an index card in your wallet, a short note on your phone, or a dedicated pocket notebook. When something pleasant happens, a helpful nudge, a quick laugh, a neat solution, write one line. The point is consistency, not detail. A brief entry preserves moments that otherwise fade during busy stretches. Flip through this mini archive when you need perspective. Seeing a handful of small wins collected in one spot reminds you of practical supports and pleasant surprises. And tagging entries, funny, helpful, warm, can reveal comforting patterns over time. 1.2. Turning appreciation into action. Gratitude grows when it moves outside your head. Here are ways to make appreciation improve relationships and encourage helpful habits. Be specific when you thank someone. Instead of a generic line, say what they did and how it helped you. That clarity makes the other person feel seen and increases the chance they'll repeat the helpful behavior. Specific thanks does 2 things. It names the action and the effect. Instead of a bare thanks, try a quick line like, "Thank you for staying late on the report. Your edits caught errors and saved us time." Naming the moment shows you noticed and makes the other person feel truly seen. Use a simple three-part script. Identify what they did, state the impact, and add a brief reflection. For example, I appreciated you bringing sandwiches today. It let everyone keep working through the afternoon. Short, clear recognition encourages repeated helpful behavior and builds trust. Keep one or two go-to phrases in mind so specificity becomes natural rather than awkward. That small habit shifts quick politeness into meaningful acknowledgement. Balance noticing with doing. When you appreciate someone's effort, consider a small return, a note, an offer to help, or simply acknowledging the work publicly. Actions reinforce the network of support around you. Noticing effort matters, but pairing appreciation with a small, concrete action strengthens the relationship. A brief handwritten note offering to take over a chore for the week, or a public call out during a meeting shows that gratitude matters beyond words. Keep returns simple and sustainable. If you respond with something grander than you can maintain, the gesture risks becoming transactional. Choose small acts that match your capacity. Bringing coffee, sending a short message highlighting a contribution, or handling one routine task to ease someone's load. These tiny returns make support visible and reliable. Over time, the practice creates a positive loop. People feel valued, they help again, and a resilient network of mutual aid grows. Shift group norms by modeling gratitude. In families or teams, name one contribution you valued at the end of a shared task. Over time, this rewires the group to spot effort, not just faults. When leaders and family members model appreciation, it changes what everyone notices. Create a short ritual. After a meeting or meal, take a moment for each person to name one contribution they appreciated. Keep each share brief so the habit is easy to sustain. Consistent modeling shifts attention away from faults and toward effort. People begin to scan for helpful moves instead of criticisms, which lowers defensiveness and boosts cooperation. Rotate who speaks so recognition feels inclusive rather than top-down. Make gratitude tiny and regular. Short, reliable acknowledgments compound into a cultural rhythm that protects morale and makes collaborative problem-solving smoother. Leaders can seed this by crediting effort during reviews or check-ins until appreciation becomes expected, not exceptional. 1.3 Practical routines to try tonight. Pick one straightforward habit to start in the evening. These routines are quick, concrete, and meant to be repeated without pressure. Try a 1-minute recap. Before bed, write one sentence about a small good thing from your day and one sentence on why it mattered. The why is the part that makes the memory stick. Spend 60 seconds before bed writing one sentence about a small good thing from your day and one sentence explaining why it mattered. This tiny ritual quietly builds attention and signals to your brain that these moments are worth keeping. The why turns a passing observation into a memory by connecting emotion or purpose to the moment. Naming meaning helps your mind store it as useful information rather than background noise. Keep it simple and concrete. An unexpected laugh, a warm drink, a short helpful message. Concrete detail makes the moment easier to call up later without pressure to be profound. Do this regularly, and you create a short, reliable archive of small supports. Over time, those notes become a steady resource on tougher days. Try to write without judging. A casual note is better than none. Send a 2-line message. Tell someone you noticed something they did and how it made a difference. Short, sincere messages build connection without needing perfect timing. A 2-line message is focused, a brief note telling someone you noticed what they did and how it helped. It takes a minute, but it widens connection and makes appreciation tangible. Name the action and the effect. Thanks for listening yesterday. Your questions helped me think more clearly. That simple clarity makes the appreciation feel real and memorable to the other person. Send it by text, email, or a sticky note. Shortness removes pressure, increases the chance you'll actually do it, and fits awkward moments when a long conversation isn't possible. You don't need a reply. The message itself is the gift. Repeatedly naming appreciation changes what you notice and how your relationships feel. If writing feels awkward, practice by leaving a private note to refine your voice. Small efforts add up. Practice a doorway breath. When you move from one part of your day to another, take 3 steady inhales and name one thing you appreciate for that moment. This habit creates gentle transitions instead of constant hurry. A doorway breath is a tiny pause you can use whenever you shift from one activity to another. Step through a literal or figurative doorway, take 3 steady inhales, and name one thing you appreciate right now. The rhythm of 3 breaths calms the nervous system, while naming an appreciation anchors attention. That brief combination helps transitions feel deliberate instead of automatic. Appreciations can be sensory, warmth, scent, or light, or practical, like finishing a small task. The particular choice doesn't matter. The act of noticing is what creates the reset. Use doorframes, screens, or simple habits as cues. Practiced a few times a day, this exercise gathers many little resets that reduce reactivity and increase a sense of calm. It requires no special tools and can fit into nearly any schedule.